Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Diaspora panel, the voice of the diaspora. Today, we're going to talk about something very important as usual, and I have with me Mr. Ola Lawal, who is based in Canada. Mr. Lawal, you are welcome to today's meeting.
Thank you for having
So,
me.
first of all, before we proceed, can I just advise all our customers that we advise you to subscribe to this channel. Subscription is free of charge. You can subscribe by just clicking on that red button on the right that says subscribe, and when you subscribe, you will be able to see our new videos when we upload them. Also, if you have any queries or if you want to send us any suggestion for this program, you can send your queries and suggestions to info@diasporapanel.com. Unavoidably, we are missing two of our panelists. They are still on their way, so we hope that they will join us before the end of the program. Uh, so, in the last few weeks, we've seen convention after convention of all the different parties, and of course, the one that very special are the one of the APC and the PDP. We've discussed the one of the PDP in one of our episodes. So we saw what happened in the APC convention where Bola Tinubu came on tops. He's been elected as the standard flag bearer for the APC. So with Atiku elected as the standard bearer for PDP, and with people like Peter Obi as the presidential candidate for Labour Party, and Kwankwaso as the presidential uh, the presidential candidate for NNDP, if I'm not wrong. So we want to look at them head to head. What are their parts? What different parts do they have to the presidency? This is what we want to look at today. So, Shupo, I want us to discuss this head to head
Okay.
between the different aspirants. So first of all, we saw what happened in the PDP. The first person who moved out of the PDP is Rabiu Kwankwaso, who is from Kano. Shupo, do you think that Kwankwaso will affect the fortunes of the PDP in any way?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me this morning. So, I think he does have some following. I don't think we can take that from him. But to be quite honest, I doubt very much if his following will be any more than two states in the north. Probably Kano for sure.
Hmm.
And then maybe some parts of Kaduna.
Hmm.
Kano definitely for sure he will likely show strong. And I think the disadvantage would be to the PDP because he would take most of the votes, likely from Atiku.
Right.
I think it's going to be the net effect, going forward. So he's following in the south. I think is questionable. Likely, maybe if he's able to get someone from the south to run with him, depending exactly on where the person is from and what following they have, I think might give him maybe a couple more states. But being a Muslim, then the challenge is to find a Southern Christian. So I think net positive or net negative effect will be to the PDP, and the candidate that will likely suffer that would be Atiku.
Because if you look at the stats that I've seen here in the last election, we saw that in Kano State, in the last election, Atiku Abubakar scored about 20% of the votes. That's about 391,000, and that was because Kwankwaso is from Kano. Kwankwaso is from Kano. So now that we have Kwankwaso out of the PDP, so it's most likely that Kano State is no longer in Atiku Abubakar's trajectory of victory, so it's lost Kano. So I think because of that, his path to the presidency is a little bit dimmed because of Kwankwaso leaving the party. Another personality that I think we need to talk about is also Peter Obi, who also left. Peter Obi also left. And Peter Obi is possibly PDP's most flamboyant politician from the eastern part of Nigeria. We also saw the exodus of Hinaya Abaribe, who is the minority leader in the Senate. He's also left. And we saw, I think, at some point, Keremadu, former deputy president of the Senate, actually left. I think he came back, but it's not the same. We can see that Rivers State Governor Wike is not a happy man. He's not really happy with the party. So now let's wrap everything now around Peter Obi, with Peter Obi leaving the PDP at this point in time. What do you think? How do you think that will affect the PDP, especially in the 5 southeastern states?
Massive, I must say. And I would say, from a lot of what I've been following, Peter Obi's leaving, his departure from the PDP, as it seems, actually helped his candidacy. A lot more people seem to be, his favorable ratings seem to have improved significantly. And I think for 2 reasons. One, I think there seems to be a consensus that he left the PDP because he's not interested in playing politics as usual. Okay. I think most Nigerians agree with the fact that business or politics as usual is not going to end well for the country. And by that I mean, selecting candidates based on where they're from and, their religion and, the previous political experience they've had. Well, if you put that all together, in Nigeria, especially amongst young people, it's all negative because that political experience that people may be claiming to have has not done well for the country. So it's more of a negative experience, so to speak. And the fact that he's willing to rock the boat by leaving the PDP and going to a party where he believes his vision, which a lot of people actually buy into, I think has helped his candidacy. He's also seen to be a gentleman. He's being perceived as someone, who wants to play by the rules, who wants a fair shot at the presidency. But more importantly, he has a vision, and his vision is, significantly different. Now, candidates may come to the table with different things. A candidate may come to say, I'm going to tackle corruption. Well, that's a very large undertaking. But the way Peter Obi seems to have done it is he's not campaigning that, I'm going to tackle corruption. He understands and agrees that corruption is an issue in Nigeria, but he's offering a different vision. And he's saying things, for example, like, if you look at countries like Bangladesh, they have no oil. Their industry is primarily textile, and they pull in $38 billion a year from that. Well, how much does Nigeria pull in from oil? 18 billion. So he's offering options on the table that can, provide the revenue that the country needs, that can generate the revenue the country needs, can put more Nigerians into the workforce, and not just, low minimum wages, but good wages that they can actually raise families on. So these are the things that Peter Obi is saying, and it is resonating with Nigerians. Nigerians are very hardworking people. They don't want handouts. All they want is a government that will facilitate and provide the right environment where they can build businesses, where they can thrive, where they are safe, where there's a guaranteed security for life and property, and all of that. So, and I don't think that's too difficult for any citizen of any country. So that is the vision that Peter Obi is putting forward. And from what I'm seeing, even on social media, on Twitter and all that, people are responding to it, because I think for the first time, Nigerians are tired of selecting a leader based on which part of the country they're from. The people that seem to be coming to his campaign and actually offering to help register voters and all that are across all regions of the country. I will say, though, significantly from the younger generation. So I think his departure from the PDP has hurt the PDP, but I think it has helped him, Peter Obi, as a candidate for president.
Okay, because a few things I've seen on Twitter, for example, I've seen loads of young people from every part of the country, from the southwest, from the north, even from the northwest, from the core northwest, Muslim northwest, people from the middle belt, people from the south, from the southeast. So many boys and girls are actually trending towards Peter Obi. So these people, their population in Nigeria is massive.
Yes.
So if Peter Obi can key into this category of people, do you think APC and PDP having a third force beside them?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there is already a third force. It's not if they can, there is already a third force. And if both the PDP and the APC play just business as usual, I think they may be in for a massive, a rude awakening. That hinges largely on the ability for this younger generation to organize. Because, saying things on social media is a different thing. Turning that drive and that energy into a grand movement is a totally different issue. What I am seeing, though, is they are actually turning that energy into a grand movement. And they are starting with that, first and foremost, by organizing massive campaigns to register voters. That is important, because if they succeed largely at doing that, and they're able to register many more new voters, and I must say that it cuts across all regions. I'm seeing that in the West, I'm seeing that in the East, and I'm seeing that even from the North. People, coming openly to say, I'm a Northerner, I born and raised in the North, and I'm disgusted with what's happening. I can associate with Peter Obi's campaign, even to the point that on one of the posts I read, one guy was asking, for a new leader for the Labour Party to be elected, because they've been calling the elected person as the Labour Party, I think it was in Kano, one of those northern states, and that the person has not been responding. And they want to begin the process of registering voters massively and getting them prepared for the general election. So there is energy within the youth, and that energy, I would say, is turning into a real ground movement.
Okay, so I want us to discuss Atiku Abubakar's, path to the presidency. How could he become president? And I want to show you, something here that I can think is worth looking at. Please give me a moment. It's a project that that was recorded that was captured on the website, and I was talking about that was the 2019 election and the scores of each of the candidates. So if we look at this, we should be able to see the trajectory of the different parties. I'm going to show you this now. Just bear with me a moment. Okay. Okay. So if you look at this is the 2019 presidential elections won by the APC. APC had 15 million votes, PDP 11 million votes. So Atiku had 11 million votes in 2019, Buhari had 15 million votes. So if things remain like this, if things remain as it is, there's no doubt Atiku does not have a clear trajectory to the president. It does not have a clear path to win this presidency. But what is in favor of Atiku Abubakar? First, Edo State here has moved to the PDP. But one thing about Edo State is that the votes between the PDP and the APC are split equally. 45, 46, 47, 40. So if Atiku is making any gains, maybe about 3 or 4 or 5,000 votes, which is not significant. So, but that's a plus for Atiku Abubakar. But what is the minus for him? One, Kwankwaso has left. So, if you look at the votes that Atiku won in Kano in 2019, Atiku won about 391,000 votes. That vote is gone. That vote is gone. Number two, if you look at Cross River State, in 2019, Atiku won there by 70%, which is about 295,000 votes. Now, the governor of Cross River, Ben Ayade, has left. He's gone to APC. So, that almost about 300,000 votes also is gone. Okay? Now, if you look at Ebonyi State, which is just be very close to Cross River, Atiku also won there by almost about 250,000 votes. The governor of that state has also left to the APC. That's another 250,000. So that's 850,000 votes left that has left Atiku Abubakar's column. If you go to Akwa Ibom State, one of their flamboyant politicians, Akpabio, has also left. So some votes have gone there. If you go to neighboring River State, where the Atiku won there in 2019 with about 70%, I think the votes there was almost about 500,000 votes. Now the governor of that state, Wike, doesn't seem to be happy. So we are waiting whether it's going to go to another party or whether it's going to move to APC or maybe go to Labour, or maybe we don't know what is going to happen there. But it's not happy. It could still be in the party, but it may not help the party because it's not happy. So looking at all this together, do you see a clear path? What does Atiku Abubakar needs to do?
I laugh actually because it's a very tough uphill battle for Atiku, and I think it starts, unfortunately for him, based on his candidacy. This was a man who, when the last time he ran under the banner of power coming back to the South this time around. And he basically went back on his word. So the problem is not, to be quite honest, I think the states that you've analyzed, I think they will kind of all even out. He'll gain some in some, he'll lose some in some others. I think the net positive effect is not going to be that significant. What is a big problem for him is his credibility. He is not a person that can be. I mean, imagine now actually doing a deal with him. Are you really certain that he's going to hold up the end of his own bargain in another 4 years? Very, very likely not. That's his problem. It's
not trustworthy.
It's not trustworthy. And in politics, sometimes people always say there are no permanent friends, there are only permanent interests. We're understood. But even that, those permanent interests has to come with certain level of integrity. I don't think Atiku, by running and basically exonerating other candidates from PDP has helped him at all. I doubt very much if he will be ever able to find a Christian Southerner, probably from the Southeast, that will run with him. I doubt. I mean, that if he can, that may be something good for him. But at the moment, I don't see any credible candidate that would deliver votes for him and that would deliver states for him across a large section of the Southeast that will join that ticket.
Right, okay.
That, I think, is actually Atiku Abubakar's problem. The other item also is the fact that Kwankwaso in the north is now under the NMPP, I think.
NNDP.
NNDP, yeah. It's another negative for him. So I would say overall, it's not looking good.
Doesn't look good.
And how do you actually fix that? You know, the fix for me is very difficult because I don't think it's something that he can do. What would have been best for him was to not have run at all, in my opinion. But he went back on his word, and I don't see anybody doing any deals with him because he just cannot be trusted. I think one thing that's very clear from this candidate is there's only one interest when you are talking about Atiku Abubakar, and that is whatever benefits Atiku Abubakar himself.
Okay, thank you, Shupo. Let me bring Lighton into the conversation. Lighton, you are welcome. Can you unmute, please? You are welcome to today's program. Sorry? Hello, Lighton, can you hear us? Okay, I think you have some problem. Okay. So, by and large, Shupo, and the next question I want to ask you, Atiku, I'm trying to get into Atiku's mind. Okay? So, this man is from the north of the country. He's from Adamawa State, a northeastern state. Now, the candidate of the APC, Tinubu, is from the southwest. Peter Obi is from the south. So, Kwankwaso is from the northwest. So, Atiku, who is a politician who has been trying to contest elect, you have wanted to become president for about 30 years. He's seeing himself as a northern candidate. He's seeing himself as, I'm from the north will vote for me. Do you think he's a northern candidate? And do you think the entire north will rally around Atiku Abubakar?
I think the 2023 elections are going to be a bit different. And when I say that, I mean that for both the APC and the PDP. Because politicians that are still kind of running on the mentality of, this tribe is going to go with me or that tribe is going to go with me, maybe in for a rude awakening. There is a huge new voting bloc that is up for grabs in Nigeria, and that is the young generation. I think a lot of the generation that participated in the NSAS movement in the last, and all of the movements leading up to it are actually at that voting age where they will be eligible to vote come 2023. And I will tell you that a lot of that group are not only dissatisfied with the current political elites, they see the current political elites as the major problem of Nigeria. Their solution is to retire them and bring in qualified candidates that have a vision for the country that will move the country forward. That movement cuts across various tribes in Nigeria, which is actually an interesting phenomenon because that largely hasn't really happened. But I think the problems that Nigeria has had and the fact that the problem is a result of poor leadership has made people dump tribal sentiments, to electing people who are competent and qualified. Look, voting for somebody because it's your tribesman is not going to put food on your table. Voting for somebody who will put the right structures in place that will guarantee security and enable you run your own, company or whatever, is what puts food on your table. I think Nigerians are beginning to catch up to that. So, I don't think this northern, within the older generation, that may play out. But that generation now is shrinking. And the block that is emerging are the youth. And I tell you, they are not playing by the old rules. They actually want real change in their country. They want opportunity, and they are preparing now to do whatever it takes to get it.
Okay. One thing I want us to discuss is the elephant in the room, which of course is the Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So when we look at the landslide victory he had at the convention, one cannot only just give it to him that he know what he's doing. He's a politician that has built structure, a politician that has built a structure that cut across the country. In every part of the country, it seems to have a clout there. So if you look at him, you find out that he has a lot of support, especially among the northern governors. And there is this talk about Muslim ticket, and people are saying, well, we can't support Muslim ticket. So if, for example, he chooses another Muslim from the north, do you think that's going to affect his base in the southwest? Especially the Christian folks in the southwest?
That is going to be a big problem. I think Nigerians are very, 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 especially now, where it seems that a lot of the insecurity is largely fueled by groups that are predominantly aligned to the Muslim faith. I know a lot of Muslims may not agree with that, but I that is the perception. I mean, you don't see, kind of Christian terrorist organizations, killing people and doing all of these things. So Boko Haram is still very, very active. That is a problem because Christians with a Muslim tickets somehow, and I know this is largely untrue, but that's the belief that there may be some kind of an agenda to Islamize Nigeria, as funny as that sounds, or that they may be insensitive to the issues that pertain to security, especially when it comes to Christians. So a Muslim ticket is not going to help. And I would say that cuts across all candidates.
Okay.
Even for Peter Obi, likely, he may have his core supporters within the young generation, but if he wants to be able to break out of that demographics and get some votes as well, from other voting blocks, he will do himself a lot of favor by actually choosing a Muslim candidate.
Right. Okay. So you think choosing a Christian candidate will help his cause, basically?
It will help that cause significantly. No question about that.
All right. Okay. So now, if you look at Tinubu's candidacy, one thing I've seen about him is that he's a very, very clever politician. So, and if I were him right now, I know that in 2019 we had 15 million votes. The PDP had 11 million votes, and I know that since then we have gained Cross River State, we have gained Ebonyi State, we've lost Edo State, okay, but we've also gained some votes in Akwa Ibom. So we basically gained about 3 states. So we have actually added more than we have lost. So, but if you look very well at the politics playing on now, River State is up for grabs. River State is up for grabs. And if you remember that in the last election in Bayelsa State, APC actually won in Bayelsa State. It was the court that reversed the gains and then gave the governorship to the PDP. On the ballot, the APC actually won in Bayelsa. So you can see that APC has gained a lot of ground. But the biggest state, or the state with the biggest population, In the PDP column right now is River State, in which Governor Wike is there who is not happy. If you are Bola Tinubu, will you go to Wike and try to lure him into APC?
Well, that would be a tough one to do because Wike, I would imagine, has had many opportunities to leave the PDP and come to the APC. And he has made a decision to remain in the PDP for, obviously, for whatever reasons. I think the South and the Southeast have predominantly been a massive base for PDP, I think, over the last couple of years, as the Southwest has kind of convened around the APC. So I think we can't rule it out. And I think it will depend very much on how or what opportunities Wike might see for himself if he moves to APC. Now, if we look at it from one angle, you have to kind of look at things from a from the most likely option. If he remains in the PDP, with Atiku being the current flag bearer, who is a northerner, there may be a better, and with the showing that he had, I think, in the PDP elections for the presidential candidate, I think in the next cycle, Wike would probably see himself as the main flag bearer if he's able to stick with the PDP for now, and further consolidate his base. That's one outcome. Another outcome is if he is offered the vice presidential ticket in APC, and he sees that as a likely chance of winning, that will put him, in the number 2 slot. But that will put him in the number 2 slot for probably a maximum of 8 years if, the candidate wins re-election. And, that would then mean if it's the APC, the next go round is going to be zoned to the north. So he's not going to be able to move into that, number 1 spot because, in the next, 8 years, that pendulum will swing back to the north for the presidency. So I think if you kind of weigh both options, it's probably better for him to remain in the PDP, further consolidate, and then likely become the party's flag bearer in the next cycle for presidency.
Okay, thank you, Shukwa. Let me welcome Mr. Ademola Disa, who's just joined us from United Kingdom. Mr. Disa, you are welcome to the meeting.
Oh, thank you so much. My apology for.
Nice. Okay. So we've been discussing the different presidential candidates in the different parties and comparing them head to head. So the question I would like to ask you, basically, as you just come in, is that we know that Atiku, who has won the who is the presidential candidate of the PDP, is now in a meeting with Peter Obi, who has left the party to become the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and also Rabiu Kwankwaso, who is the presidential candidate of the NNDP. Atiku has called them together. He wants them to work together. So, Demola, what do you think he wants to talk to them? He's talking to them about?
There's nothing bad in trying, but I don't think there's any discussion in that area that will be fruitful. For Obi, he left PDP on principle, and it will be very bad of him, especially with the agitation, the correct agitation going on within the youth. If he go back to PDP, he will finish his political career. He will lose a lot. So there's no going back. I don't think there's any going back to PDP. Kwankwaso also left PDP for a purpose because of his ambition. There's nothing that it's not ready. It won't be one. He can't take a presidency from Atiku, or is Atiku going to relinquish his presidential nomination and give it to Kwankwaso? So I don't. It's not politically feasible. The two options there. I don't think there's any discussion that is going to. One, I don't think Obi will step down without being a presidential candidate at all. So it's not like that one. I don't think there's any discussion in that area. The status quo will stay the same. It's too late for that type of alliance. It's not possible now. I know they can see that APC is more formidable than they would have expected. That doesn't mean that they have any opportunity of alliance of any alliance between the three.
Okay, thank you, Demola. Shupo, do you think Atiku Abubakar can relinquish his candidacy in the PDP and ask Peter Obi to come and take his place, and possibly for Kwankwaso to be the deputy? Do you think that could happen?
Well, nothing is impossible. But for a man that has spent so much to get the PDP presidential ticket, why would he throw in the towel now? I don't see the possibilities of that ever happening. Unfortunately, which I think will further damage. The PDP's presidential chances, in my opinion, are damaged goods already. And they're damaged goods because Atiku Abubakar forced his way in through.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking that question, is that Atiku is a very smart politician. Very smart. So it's looking at it this way that, okay, in 2019, I had 11 million votes. This time around, Kwankwaso is gone. It's from Kano, a very big state. The whole of the Southeast, they are clamoring for presidency. Southeast is gone. Peter Obi is left. Abaribe is left. Wike is not happy. Former deputy Senate president is also on the fringe. So I've lost the entire Igbo vote completely. And the APC northern governors, they are all practically behind Bola Tinubu in the APC. So I may end up worse than 2019. I may end up with only about 2 million votes or 3 million votes, and that's not good to end. That's not a good way to end my career. So maybe let me do an abracadabra. Let me do a good thing. Let me actually put the future of the PDP ahead of myself. Let me put this together. Let me put Peter Obi. Let me call Peter Obi back to come and be the presidential candidate, and let me give Kwankwaso the deputy. Do you think this is a possibility? Lighton?
Yeah.
Can you answer that question?
Yeah. The problem Atiku we face is already Peter Obi has gone. Considering the people that cap around TBS yesterday evening, this Saturday on the 11th of June 2022, we discovered that the Easterners, the youths in Nigeria, they are routing for Peter Obi. So I don't think Peter Obi, in his right senses, will go back to PDP. I doubt very much.
As a presidential candidate?
As a presidential candidate to go and become a VP.
No. To become a presidential candidate. If he was offered the presidential candidate
in PDP, I doubt very much. How can he be over Rivers State governor? No, it's not possible. It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not possible. That would be a Herculean task for him. So to come and become a presidential candidate in PDP, what happened to the fate of Atiku?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That Atiku are saying now that it doesn't have a clear path. It doesn't have a clear path to the presidency.
So it doesn't mind. He can step down for Obi.
I think it's looking for a way out. Than face.
No. Atiku is so ambitious that he can't step down. I know Atiku because I work closely with them. Right from the day Atiku became the vice president of President Obasanjo, he had been behind that position. So for him to now say when he won the election actually presidential election he will now say nomination. Sorry, he will now say they want to go and step down for no. It's not possible.
Okay. Later. Finally, let's just talk about Asiwaju Tinubu's chances. Let me start with you, Demola. What do you think are his chances in the 2023 elections?
Nigeria is a very, very lovely place. I really like how Nigeria always make impossible possible. In 2015, there is a slogan called Otoge, enough is enough. And that is what ushered in Buhari. Now, in 22-23 now, we have another slogan, which is brought out of adversity into which is Emiloka. It's my turn now. And if you look at all the four main aspirants now, they fit into that slogan, Emiloka. They all are putting that it's now my turn. Tinubu say it's his turn, Atiku say it's his turn, so is Kwankwaso and Obi. Obi not just saying his turn, he said it's the youth turn. And the youth are really clamoring for him. Unfortunately, the better one would have been BYO, but unfortunately, he has stepped down. I mean, he has no option now. There's a paper for Tinubu. Tinubu has shown a lot of strength. He's really shown the real political framework that he has built over the years. And with everything on the ground now, the structure is there, the resources is there, both human and financial resources are there behind him. And he managed to a great extent to still unify the party behind him. And the APC seem to be unified and not have not broken down as people would have expected if there are contrary outcome of the convention. So I think for now, tomorrow, one day is a long time in politics. As of today, in the current dispensation, I think Tinubu has a very, very good chance of becoming the president.
Okay, thank you very much, Shupo. What do you think about comparing the trajectory of Tinubu and the chances of Atiku Abubakar, and especially Peter Obi? What chances does Tinubu have in the next election?
I will say Asiwaju has a very, very strong chance. First and foremost, he has the power of the incumbent in terms of the ruling party. He seems to have the support, within the Northern Governors Forum. I think they were very, very instrumental in ensuring that power came to the South and specifically came to Asiwaju. So he does have a lot of support, a lot of goodwill, within the elected officials at the party level. That he has. And that is very, very important, I think, if you are running for office in a country like Nigeria. That framework and that establishment is going to meet a stiff challenge from the youth who are massively mobilizing, I must say, for a change. And it's not that they kind of have anything personal against Asiwaju. They just see him as part of the old clique, part of the Emilokan, which is not what they want. They don't want a government of it is my turn. They want a government that has a real vision that they are such country that they believe will change the country for the better, will give them more opportunity, and will give them a society that is safe, where everybody has a fair shot in the country. Right now, they don't see that. And Asiwaju's alliance with the North may be perceived by that particular voting bloc as not going to help. So I think he has the party establishment behind him, and I will say that's the current ruling party. So that machinery is massive and can do things for him. It will be met with the stiff resistance from the younger generation that are looking to retire all of these old politicians that are basically, regenerating, recirculating themselves, and bring in a fresh set of candidates who have a vision and who are prepared to do what is right for the country.
Thank you very much, Chupo. Lighton, do you think, I know you have always, can you unmute yourself, please? I know you have always been a vociferous supporter of Asiwaju Tinubu. Vociferous supporter. And I'm very happy for you. I congratulate you for his winning. And I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy for him. Looking at his trajectory since 2019, I was earlier showing a map here, the 2019 map. And if you look at the map, this is the APC map. You can see that since then, they've lost Edo State. They've lost Edo State. But the thing about Edo State is that the APC and the PDP, they normally share the vote equally, 47 to 48 to 49, thereabout. So there's really, if they've lost only about 5,000 to 10,000 votes. But since then, they have gained Cross River State. Benayade is now in the APC column, and they have gained Ebonyi State. Umahi is now in the PDP column. In Akwa Ibom State, Akpabio has left to the APC as well. River State, where there's Wike, Wike is not happy. If you look at Bayelsa State, the last election, APC actually won in Bayelsa State. It took the court for them to reverse the winning, in the law court. So, if you now add all these factors into APC, do you think that your candidate is already planned for in 2023?
No way, no doubt. Even before 2019, Asiwaju has been a leader with exemplary and somebody you can follow and go arrest. He will support you financially, morally, and back you to the last extent. So I was surprised when I saw a lot of array of people coming out to say they want to vie for presidency. These are the people in nurture. So, but not be as it may, I'm happy he won. It's all these people. And with this, he is a grassroots man. Aregbe is Asiwaju is a grassroots man. He knows what to do. When the chiefs are down, he knows what to do, what next to do. I mean, you see the way he maneuvered himself, he did everything for him to defeat all these people. I mean, you know what it means. He shows this guy is an astute politician. He knows what to do. Right? In the southwest, I mean, no doubt about it. Asiwaju, we win landslide. In the Middle East, in the Middle Belt, Asiwaju will win too. Yeah. So in all these areas, Asiwaju will win. And the North, they will divide it into two. They will divide North into two. East, it will have some votes there. So there is no doubt that Asiwaju will definitely win the election. It will just cost him landslide victory. No doubt about it.
Thank you.
Even, yes.
Thank you, Lighton. Before we close, there's something I just want to ask Demola. And everybody was expecting the APC to explode or to implode. In fact, in our last topic, we were talking about is APC going to implode? So, Demola, we saw what happened in the convention. It went very, very thoroughly, very neat. There's no altercation, there's no disruption, there's no everything went well. And at the end, a clear leader emerged. And we've seen Ashwaju has been going around meeting all the contestants and you know and imploring them to join hands with him to build a future for Nigeria. So, Demola, what do you think will be the fallout? Because everybody expected the PYO to win, but at the end of the day, he came third. Although for a vice president who has never been a state governor, he doesn't have any delegate of his own, he got about 235 handsome votes, which I think is a big deal. But he's a very good player, he's a sportsman, and he's taking everything in his stride. He has congratulated Ashwaju and has moved on. But what do you think is the fallout of this convention? Do you think there's any fallout?
Fallout with the party structure, I don't think there's any issue with that, because the whole thing was playing and the election was free and fair, and there was no imposition of any sort. There was no consensus or anybody being forced into stepping down for the other. So, and they all go to the battle with their own strength, and it's very glaring that Ashwaju Bola Tinubu won landslide. So, and he has since then he has been very humble. He has swallowed everything and tried to unify and reconcile with everybody. And the party seems, at least outwardly, so far so good. The party seems to be in one complete good form. Now, what is glaring there, which is the two main parties have done their convention, they have done their nomination, and we know who their party is. But is it if there's anything coming out of this, it's not in the parties, it's in the general public. The population, the populace were very much disappointed with the two major party outcome. That is only people with money and with that able to get their way with the delegates that won. It's not on the principle of what they want to do for Nigeria, but their ability to win the interests of the delegates. So, and that is what is developing, making another development about a silent revolution that is going on now. This is awakening the youth to stand up and try to see what they can do to effect change practically. Not standing down, looking, stand by and watching everything. It seems we have awakened the awareness of the youth, and we have geared them up to be not apolitical but now partisan. They are now, that is why you see a lot of turnout for the PVC now registration. And let me tell you one thing, the vote that we are talking about 2019 is totally irrelevant in this election. It's a new playground, I can tell you that. We cannot predict what the structure of the votes in 2023 will be. North is not the same, the South is not the same, be it Southeast or Southwest or South-South, they are not the same as in 2019. We will see a different structure of voting. And the APC should now be cognizant because they have a lot of tough work to do.
Thank you very much. So, and that takes us to the same question I've asked you before, Shupo, that looking at Atiku, look at Bola Tinubu, who should be their different candidates? Can you just look into your crystal ball? If you are Bola Tinubu, who would you choose in the north? If you are Atiku, who will you be gunning for in the south?
So, if I were Bola Tinubu, being a southern Muslim, I would say the profile would be a northern Christian. Now, who will fit into that?
Where will you find a northern Christian?
Yeah, so the candidates that kind of fit into that model, in my opinion, are not very strong. So one, for example, would be, I believe it's former Nasarawa State Governor, Lalong.
I think it's the present Plateau Governor.
President Plateau Governor, okay. So he may fit into that profile, but I don't think he's kind of seen as a kind of core northerner.
Not a heavyweight.
Not a heavyweight, but he's Christian. So that's one candidate. If you look at the core north, I don't see any person that he can kind of pick. So that is a big challenge for him. Now, there are tons of Muslim candidates, that he can pick that will, kind of deliver him very good votes. But a Muslim ticket generally may be very tough sell, will be a very, very tough sell, even in the South where he's from. So that's the challenge that he has. I quite honestly, I don't have a very clear candidate from which I would say he can pick. Now, for Atiku, he needs a southeastern Christian, which would be a lot easier for him because, from that part of the country, they are significantly Christians. I mean, there will be tons of, but the fact that Wike currently is, I won't say he's ostracized, but he's currently licking his wounds and he's not in any way prepared to accept number two. Rules him out. And if I were Wike, why would he? I mean, Wike can as well consolidate on his showing in this current time, build on that, and then relaunch for the presidency in another 4-8 years.
2027.
So that's something I think that will probably work better for him and will actually give him a better voice because he will be perceived as someone that is not settling in for second fiddle this time around. But he's kind of, going for the main for the main candidacy. So I would say Wike is probably out. Now, who else can he choose from? Peter Obi, if he was still in the PDP, would have been a good option for him. Some of the other people that he may have chosen from have kind of departed from the PDP. So it's tough for him right now to get somebody. And I doubt he's going to be able to get anybody from the Southwest. I mean, the Southwest is not significant PDP.
It's not going to get a vote from the Southwest, so let's leave the Southwest apart.
Yeah, so, I think from the beginning, this is something that he should have thought very deeply about. I don't think this is something you can fix at this moment.
He drove himself to a dead end now.
I mean, what were you thinking?
Okay. Yeah. Let me go to Lighton. If you look at the politics of the APC, right from 2014, when Bola Tinubu began this trajectory of APC as a party, everybody knows that from that point on, he has one step into the presidency. And that's why he said, Emilokan, it's my turn. Now, in 2022-23, if you're looking at the North for a vice president, there's no doubt that the person that is standing out there who has galvanized this support, this massive support for Tinubu, is El-Rufai, Nasir El-Rufai. If you're looking at that North, who is the best candidate there, who is the political heavyweight there, who is the person there that can tackle Atiku there, it's Nasir El-Rufai. But he's a Muslim, and Bola Tinubu is a Muslim. Is it gonna? Do you think that's gonna work? Please unmute.
2014, 2019 is different from 2023.
Okay.
This is 22nd. This is 22nd century. Those are 19th century. Dude, what I believe is the rate of distrust and dismemberment was not as palpable as this then. Everybody were clamoring for separation, because some people, they are killing them. They are killing Christians over there. So the Christians, they lost faith in the other religion. So when you now want to impose the two religion, the same religion on Christians again, Muslim, no way. It can't fly. That option will not fly.
So who should his candidate be?
This former speaker from Bauchi State. What was his name? The former speaker from Bauchi State.
The Yakubu
Dogara. And El-Rufai should bury the ambition. For now, considering the fact that people were killed in his nose, in southern Syria, southern Kaduna, you don't do anything about it. What impression are you giving the Catholics there? What impression are you giving all other Christians there? Considering the fact that you did Muslim, and you don't allow the Christians to come and vote. So it's a betrayal of trust. Somebody, you want to govern the whole state, and they are killing Christians. Every day they keep killing Christians. You don't do anything. You don't say anything. You don't do anything. You don't. I know it's wrong.
Okay, who do you think should be? Who do you think should be Atiku's running mate?
Guess what? If I were Atiku, do you know what I would do? I would come to the southwest to come and pick running mates.
Like who?
I will pick. It might be Fayoshe. It might be anybody in the southwest. I will pick somebody in the southwest to balkanize the votes for Bola and Tinubu. You know, anybody I pick from the southwest, we have supporters too. They will pick everybody. The block votes from the southwest will not go. No full weather, no how. The Igbos, they will not follow Tinubu. That is for certain. So you grab out of the votes of the southwest for Tinubu, you grab the whole block of Igbo, they will vote for you. In the north, you will get some votes, right? And in the west, you make an inroad there. So that will be a plus for him to choose somebody from the southwest, right? So it will disdabaru everything. That is how I view it. So that is my political calculations.
Okay. Thank you, Lighton. And just finally, Demola, who do you propose to be candidate for running mates for Tinubu and for Atiku? What are your proposals?
That's a very, very difficult guess, because it's very difficult at this stage because of the political permutation that is going on in Nigeria now. It's much easier for Atiku than for Tinubu. I know that PK doesn't want the second people as all along, but the pressure may be on him from the party to take on. I can be, from all dispensation, from all things I'm looking at, PK is most likely to be the vice president candidate, because that is look, Obi, we are talking about Obi now, not just because of his governorship achievement, it's also because he was also the the vice president career candidate for Atiku in 2019, and it makes his presence known and presence also. So Obi have nothing to lose. PK have nothing to lose. He can be the vice president now, and when the time comes, also for the to present a presidential candidate, he can use that as a doctrine part. So he will build his own also, structure from that. I think it's a good opportunity for him. I'm expecting Wike to be the vice president. There's no looking to any other options.
Okay, who do you consider to be running mate to Bola Tinubu?
Tinubu is a different story. It's more difficult. From all look at things, the Northerners, the governors are expecting him to pick from one of the governors to be the vice president, because they have given up the presidency for him now. So, but it's now the question is, will he be a Muslim or will he be a Christian? As they follow the pulse of the country regarding the zoning and considering the president of the South, I will expect them also to look for a Christian Northerners to be the VP. A Muslim Northerners is really risky at this time for them to put through, because it's very dangerous. But it's not impossible. But I can't see specifically who exactly they can put forward now, other than the governor of Plateau State. So it's not an heavyweight. Most of the VP nomination, are never heavyweight until they become VP. So it can still be the Plateau State governor.
Okay, thank you, Kendu. Thank you, Demola, for that wonderful contribution. So we've come to the end of today's deliberations, and I want to thank everybody. Thank you for coming. From Canada, Mr. Olalawa, thank you for your wonderful contribution. From United Kingdom, Mr. Ademola Desa, thank you for your wonderful contribution. And in faraway America, Mr. Olaitan Diba, thank you for your contribution. I'll see you again next week. And to all our viewers again, let me advise that you should please subscribe to this channel, so that when I put out a new video, you'll be one of the first people to know about it. And please contact us on info@diasporapanel.com if you have any message for us. And please subscribe. Thank you for all those who have subscribed in the last few weeks. We've seen a few subscriptions. Thank you, and God bless you all. And to all our viewers, I want to say again, thank you for viewing, and God bless you.